Here at the AZ Adaptive Open with Justin Miller, seated golfer. So Justin, I saw you post on Instagram. This is your first time playing in an Arizona championship since you were 15 years old. So you grew up playing golf. What does it mean to be a part of this event and just see how this is shaping out?
This is amazing, man. This is really beautiful. Happy to be here with you on a nice brisk morning here in Arizona. We don't get a lot of these. When I was 15 was the last time I was able-bodied. I was a high school golfer up in St. John's High, and we played in Apache Gold outside of Globe, which is a golf course that doesn't even exist anymore. I was actually telling my buddy yesterday, I really wish we could go back and play that thing. And seeing how Arizona puts on a championship like this has been really, really wonderful, because it gives me great hope for what this is going to be like going into the future. They had the Stephanie from the USGA out here yesterday. I got to talk to her a little bit. So seeing that they're involving the United States Golf Association, learning from other state associations, like I just came back from Texas last month too, seeing these things grow, it's wonderful, and I love having it right here in my home state.
And I forgot to mention it right off the top too, we're here at Papago Golf Club, beautiful course as well. AZ Golf doing a phenomenal job organizing this as well. Just seeing, in your years, and I want to get into your story as well, but just seeing the growth of adaptive golf in general, we'll start there. What have you seen?
It's been crazy the last couple of years. So I started early 2018. I went to the first U.S. Disabled Open in Orlando, Florida, and there I got to meet about 40 individuals who I would then basically follow all over the country for about 4 years. Basically, if I was going to Michigan, if I was going to Virginia, I would see the same 40 golfers basically almost everywhere. And this year, this is my 8th adaptive event around the country, and every single tournament I've been paired with somebody I've never met before. The game is growing immensely, and I think it's because of the U.S. Adaptive Open now being televised. There's more awareness to the fact that the league exists, and it's really inspiring. It's really inspiring.
So your story, if you'd like to share it. So you played golf growing up, and then you had an accident when you were a teenager, right? So what happened, if you'd like to share that?
Yeah, so I grew up in Concho, Arizona, which was too small to have a high school. So we had to go about 15 miles into the nearest town, St. John's, for a high school. And it was on that road where my dad was driving me to school early in the morning, kind of in a brisk morning like this, where we had a freak snowstorm in the middle of April. And we just ended up hitting some black ice on the road, and the truck's back end spun out, and we caught the asphalt and rolled. And somewhere along the truck rolling, my back broke. And I didn't really realize it in the moment, because I think when you have a traumatic break like that, your body kind of shuts off. So I didn't realize when I was sitting in the truck trying to get out that, my back was in two places. It wasn't until I went to grab my legs and found out they weren't moving and I couldn't feel them that the realization kind of set in. But being 16, being an avid golfer at the time, I remember even being in the truck before they even got me out, yelling to my dad, like, I don't think I'm gonna go pro. Like, I had a real belief that I could do something great with this game, and I thought that a lot of that was taken from me. And in 2018, I got to get back into golf and into the adaptive community. I got to compete for my country at the Disabled Ryder Cup, our Phoenix Cup. I've been able to play in major championships with the USGA and play Pinehurst. All of those dreams that I thought in the moment that were taken from me because of my accident, well, kind of roaring back,
They still came to fruition just the way that you didn't see it. Exactly. What year was that accident?
2003.
2003. So you had a 15-year gap between then and when you found the U.S. Adaptive Open. Did you find out about golf being a possibility somewhere in that time frame, or was it closer to 2018? When did you find out?
So when I got out of the hospital, my small community had a bunch of spaghetti dinners and car washes, and they raised money, and they went out and found the Solar Rider Golf Company at the time. So when I got out of the hospital, they had an adaptive golf cart ready for me. The problem was I wasn't the same golfer anymore. I wasn't able to hit the same shots I was from before. and I got discouraged, and I really didn't play. I would go out a few times with the guys. Sorry, it's really windy. I'm chilly here. I would go out sometimes with the guys every once in a while, but just discouraged a lot. So that's kind of how I accidentally found the U.S. Disabled Open when I went to play it. I was really just Googling other disabled golfers. Could I find somebody else to play with, somebody else that would be dealing with the same kind of issues I am? The beauty of it is, since our adaptive rules have now been adapted into the rules of golf, I can now compete with anybody. I can compete with all my able-bodied friends, and we can do it in a fair, even way, and that competition is still there. So that passion came back. But when I thought that I was just going to always be a golfer who couldn't hit the ball very far, I wasn't as interested in the game. So I really didn't golf much for most of those 15 years. The cart sat for a long time. I had to refurbish it when I decided to get back into it.
So, and by the way, it is really chilly and windy here. We're still in Arizona, I promise. I'm not used to busting. I was getting made fun of for this jacket over the weekend at the high school state championships, but sometimes you got to do it. But with that too, so okay, so you have like a 15-year period. You're discouraged. You finally find something. When did the game start clicking for you again?
It was so funny is, when I knew a championship was coming up, I had something to prepare for. So I was out there almost every day practicing. And because I was the only disabled golfer that I knew, I kind of thought, maybe I'm like the best disabled golfer. You know what I mean? Right. Some weird thought in my head where I'm like, maybe I'm just going to go win this thing. Because everybody else seemed to be very impressed by my abilities. Right. And I showed up to Orlando, and I got quickly humbled. I think out of like the 45 or 50 players, I may have came in like fifth to last or something. You know what I mean? Like, and I remember just going out to the driving range the first time, seeing one-armed guys, two-leg guys, people with neurological disabilities, visually impaired golfers, smacking the ball, and I realized really quickly I got a lot of work to do. So I was doing probably 4 or 5 tournaments a year, except for the COVID year from 2018, and I just started winning this year. So it took me 6 years out here before I actually started to break through. Yeah.
So competition being the big thing, I love that too, especially as a former athlete. I think there's just certain times in life where not everything needs to be competitive, but when you have a goal to work towards specifically, that's when things change. Same thing like in the gym. If you're just going to work out, you're not going to make progress because you're not trying to work towards something, at least in my eyes. That's how I see it. When I'm working towards a show or something, the progress is much better. So has that kind of helped you not just, get back out on the golf course, but does it kind of help maybe just the way you go through life as well in situations?
It's definitely given me more confidence in life, right? Because having something that you were so good at before you were disabled, and then realizing afterwards, damn, dude, you're just as good after. I can compete in a world stage now. Means that I look at other challenges in my life, and I don't look at them as, I wish I could do that. If I would do that if I weren't disabled. Like, I went to Hawaii last year, and I said, let's go skydiving. Like these guys will figure it out. They landed me in my wheelchair. You know what I mean? Like, heck yeah. As long as you have the goal, and you don't let everything get in your way to say, maybe it shouldn't be done. I didn't go ask a doctor, do you think it's all right for me to be jumping out of an airplane flyer? No, I just did it, we'll figure that out. But, living life that way has helped me live life happier. It's helped me live a more fulfilled life. And it definitely means that I don't see the world as being an obstacle anymore.
So I think that kind of touches in what I'm asking next with a message you would give, whether it's to yourself in 2003 when it happens, or whether it's to somebody, similar situation, athlete, really good at something, it's ripped away from them from an accident. What would you say about what you don't know at the time? Because you don't know that these opportunities are there for you.
I think the best thing that anybody can do is work towards, this is what I do. I'm a goal setter. I'm a box checker. I got a lot of boxes on a blank list in my brain. Things that I want to do, things that I want to get done. And when I get to check one of those boxes, I feel fulfilled. And so I don't know if everybody works this way, but the way I work is I need that next thing. I need that next goal to fulfill. Otherwise, that's when I start to get depressed. That's when I start sitting around, looking around, saying, what am I doing? Just going to work every day? You know what I mean? Like, when's the next tournament? When's the next vacation? When's the next awesome thing I want to do that I haven't done before? And I think as long as you can keep an outlook of always attacking those things. Everybody sits around, whether it's at night or whether you're a kid, and thinks, man, I would love to do that. I wish I could do that. They see a rock star on TV, and like, how awesome would it be to be on stage in front of those people? I didn't just create a band. I went on tour. I made albums. I was on the radio. I did all of those things because I saw guys doing it, and I said, I want to do that. I didn't let myself stop myself until I got to that point. So a lot of that 15 years when I wasn't golfing, I was playing music. I was in the clubs around here. I was on tour with the band. I was doing radio gigs because I needed something to be fulfilled. And I didn't think that I could do it at golf at the time, so I did it with music.
And what music was it? Guitar, singing?
I was the lead singer and guitar player for a punk band, two of them through those 15 years. One was The Undecided, and one was Burn This for a Friend. We played everywhere around here, man. Every weekend we were playing somewhere. It was a good time.
You're a man of many talents. I'll have to check out some of your music.
Yeah, Burn This for a Friend stuff is still on all the Spotifys. And
Okay.
it's a good time, yeah.
You heard that. You got to check it out. I'll be checking it out as well. I think just one or two more things before we get out of here, too. The adaptive community here in Arizona. So I've known Larry Solano for a few years. I've known Jarrett Foltz, Amy Bockersteady. There's lots of different adaptive golfers in Arizona. What's it like having that community? I know sometimes you guys get together and golf before some of the big events. I mean, what's it like to have that community?
They are so great. And we didn't, I don't think, realize it until we went to the second U.S. Adaptive Open at Pinehurst. And I think we were the largest contingency of representation from any state. And I want to say there were 7 or 8 of us from Arizona out of like a 90-something person field. And we got to take pictures and have drinks together and represent and feel like we were representing our state somewhere, which you don't necessarily get just going to a thing and saying hi to your friends. Like, we were grouped together in the, in the dinner rooms and stuff, and it felt like we had real camaraderie there. And the beauty about Arizona is that we have year-round golf, which means we got a lot of aces out here. We got a lot of people. You don't got to take 4 months off. And so being able to see these guys grind, and like you said, just the different people you named, every one of them have a different ability or disability, right? Like, so I go out there with Jarrett. I played with him yesterday, neurological. So insanely impressive to watch this guy golf, and he's dealing with issues completely different than mine, you know? And so to watch, Larry is a great example. He is another seeded golfer. Currently he's ranked number 3, I'm ranked number 4, so I've been sitting here biting at his heels all year. But he's a seeded golfer who plays the game completely different than I do. The way he sets up, the way he swings, like all of that is completely different than the way I do it. But at the end of the day in golf, you're just trying to get the ball in the hole. Yeah. So however you do it, get it in there. And to watch so many different people with different abilities find a way to do it at the highest level is really awesome. It really is.
And it is true what you're saying about just getting it out there, because that's my favorite thing. Being a former baseball player, if I top a ball, it's just a hard ground ball at the middle. I'm like, hard ground balls at the middle win games. They can win you in golf too. Just keep it on the green at least. So
towards the
it's a
target.
good way. Yeah, right? You just do what you can. Yeah, I guess the final thing then is just, as you look to conclude, this tournament and, prepare for, other big events throughout the years, the U.S. Adaptive Open, you've played in the Ryder Cup. I mean, what more do you want to see with adaptive golf and the growth of it? Like, what are you thinking needs to continue to grow?
This game, as everybody out there knows who's ever even tried to dabble in it, is one of the most expensive things you can do. And for 6 years, I and my friends pay for the opportunity to travel, to play, for everything from flights to hotels to the food to the entry fees. It's not cheap, and you're dropping thousands of dollars every one of these events to go out for a week to Wichita, Kansas or something. And it's starting to happen now, but we need more sponsors. We need more money, because there are really good disabled golfers who can compete with the best of us who can't afford to. And that is a tragedy. If you are good, there should be an ability for you to be able to do this game and showcase your talents and not have what you make at home be the determining factor of whether or not you can come out here to this place and compete against us. I'm in a very privileged position with the job that I have. I work for a Silicon Valley company that not only supports every endeavor I do out here, but they give me unlimited paid time off to do it. Not just me, it's the company thing, but I mean, that's stuff you don't hear about, but that's the only way I'm playing in my 8th adaptive event this year, is because of having a company that supports me like that, but that is so rare. So we need sponsors, we need more people to fund, to give purses to these events, to get to at least at minimum offset. If you play well, let's offset some of the cost of what that trip, did. And then I think we can start to get more and more people out here and lower the barrier of entry.
Absolutely. Well, that's Justin Miller. Thank you so much for joining me. Good luck today.
My pleasure, man. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.